Hello, and welcome back to the Norwegian campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the Dreadnought Improvement Project. So our battleship squadron here, that is invading Malaya, has encountered a very big British task force, or encountered, they're being attacked by it. I've got 4 battleships, one of which is fairly powerful. The 3 others are not so much. Especially not the Fryktløs class. They're kind of not as outdated as my pre-dreadnought battleships that I've still got kicking around somewhere, but I'm not sure if they're up to the task of going up against these things. The Canopus class. Further on, I've got 4 heavy cruisers, which are quite new and decent. And I got 4 Viking class DDs, and also a light cruiser. So the enemy has 2 very powerful battleships, a very, very powerful battle cruiser, a bunch of heavy cruisers and light cruisers, and a lot of DDs. So, I will probably not be able to sink all of them. And I will struggle trying to run away from them. But maybe, if I can get lucky with the torpedoes from the Vikings, I can cause some flooding and slow them down. And just try to whittle them away as much as I can while getting most of my ships out alive. And then later on I can bring in some battlecruisers from elsewhere and take these things out. So I think that's the plan. Yeah, this will be a bit of a struggle. Okay, let's get my my stuff organized. Dannebrog, you can actually go alone. You're the one with the guns to actually do some hurt here. These other battleships, they can maybe fire away at the lighter enemy ships. If the opportunity presents itself. The light cruiser can just follow here for a while. Oh, and my DDs, of course. My DDs have a pretty important job here. I'm gonna try and cause some kind of a mass casualty event by launching a bunch of torpedoes into the midst of the enemy formation. And just try and cause a lot of flooding and slow them down. My Mark IV 17.5-inch guns do outrange the guns of the enemy capital ships. That's pretty much the only ship I have here that's capable of doing that. Maybe the 14s on top of it can do that as well. So let's see if I can get my Vikings into torpedo launching range without having them blown up by enemy big battleship guns. Yeah, that's a question, whether or not that is possible. And they're leading with the irresistible. Well, there are some DDs in front of it. I can see that. I can see their smoke screens. "29 kilometers away." And they're firing at the Vikings. Let me get a little bit closer before I smoke up. There we go. They're not quite in range of my big guns yet. But they are in range of my torpedoes. Let's see if we can get away with this. I think we are getting away with this. Maybe. Maybe. We're taking some hits. There we go. But we are scoring hits as well with the torpedoes. Lots of them. Lots of hits are being scored. '06 and '07 are getting out. '08 is probably getting out. '05 took a pretty mean hit, but not too terrible. Yeah, Irresistible has taken flooding. No hits on Canopus yet. But we might still get her. More torpedoes getting in. There we go. Huge hit on Irresistible. And we do get Canopus as well. That means they no longer, I guess, have a range advantage over my battleships. Speed advantage, I mean. Well, maybe. Maybe they do. I'm gonna have to find out how severe that flooding ends up being. Viking 05, you're just retreating for now. 08, you are joining in with... darn it, that's the wrong thing. See, I need to do this on pause, or I'm gonna just click the wrong things. There we go. Because it's very finicky. So I got 3 good DDs left. They'll hopefully be able to retreat further back, rearm their torpedoes, and maybe do that again. Yeah, Irresistible and Canopus have both taken pretty serious flooding. 20 knots. Canopus still doing 22 knots. So maybe the flooding wasn't that severe. Let's see. Let's put this on the thumbnail, maybe. Maybe you can be on the thumbnail. What are you firing at, Big Dan? You don't quite have the range to hit the battlecruiser. Guess you're targeting a heavy cruiser. You can target that battlecruiser. The top of it is already targeting Blenheim. That is fine. Viking 08 took a little bit of flooding at the end there. Kind of slowing down the rest of the division. Oh, and also she's got no torpedoes left because they got blown up. So yeah, you're just retreating too. 06 and 07 then are the ones that will get to do another torpedo run later on. Okay, we're getting out. Good. Good. Okay, let's put the big guns on irresistible then. If the battlecruiser does not present itself as a target. It would be nice if Viking 05 could get away. She didn't launch all of her torpedoes. It's got 20 left. She was supposed to launch 15 out of her 30, leaving her with 15 remaining. I guess I was a little bit too quick to withdraw her. I don't have to pull these older dreadnoughts back just yet. I can like stay with the line here. Get ready to take on whatever DDs and light cruisers come rushing at me. They're just following those two DDs. It seems the entire enemy task force has decided that, oh no, Viking 05 and 08 are the ones that really need to be chased down. Never mind the battleships. I do want to sink some enemy ships though before I go. Is that just me being greedy? Maybe. Partial pen. The 7.5-inch gun. My DDs are almost reloaded. I got those two DDs that will probably make it home. I can kind of risk these two going in again. There we go. Finally scoring some big hits with those massive guns. And St. George is not doing too well. Let's see, I didn't accidentally tell you to follow anyone, did I? No. Good. Had to double check. Yeah, I think Viking 06. You can risk you firing at. No, actually, this is a better idea. A little bit of crisscross. Come on, get the rest of those torpedoes away. You two Viking 06. Come on, you got 10 more torpedoes. There you go. Your work here is done. Let's see what kind of results we get. Might lose a DD to this, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that that might be worth it, considering these are very affordable DDs. There we go, another torpedo hit on Irresistible. Viking 06 goes down. Irresistible will not take one more, I think. But we're gonna get a couple. There we go, on Canopus. And that's a lot of flooding. That might be a kill. I can trade a DD for a battleship. And we get some more random torpedo hits on other ships as well. I don't think Canopus is going to sink from that. But she's definitely hurting. Let's see, we got Challenger and Caledon. They are in range. Let's bring these in. We're not leaving just yet, because all flooding and like module damage will be reset after the battle, but structure Structure damage will remain. Oh, we're so close to sinking Canopus. That would have been so nice if we could sink that battleship. That would make the next battle against this British task force a lot easier if they would just have a few fewer capital ships. Especially those big capital ships with the big guns. That can do pretty mean things to my capital ships. If they just target them instead of chasing DDs off the map. Let's see. Tapper, do you have range to hit anyone, anything? Yes, that DD. And we also have torpedoes on Udolf and Eger. But, and that's why the one reason why I typically don't put a lot of torpedoes on my cruisers is that they are a little bit too valuable to risk sending them into torpedo range to take out a launch of a swarm of torpedoes into a massive task force like this. Like, I can lose a Viking class DD and not cry myself to sleep over it. Losing a cruiser would be a bit worse. Although at this point in the campaign I do have enough money that I can just build new ones. But there's also the question of shipbuilding capacity, which is really, really limited. And, well, it's limiting what I dare risk my ships to do. That's why I still have so many older ships in service, not just because of nostalgia, although that is the case with certain pre-dreadnoughts. It's that actually building new ones, not that easy. Okay, we might actually just load HE for that light cruiser. I think that would be more effective. We got a lot of HE pen. Well, it's still blocked though. There we go. That's an HE volley. Never mind. Thought it would do a lot more damage. It's not quite enough pen to go through the armor on the light cruiser, but it should do some damage. I can go back to auto selection. And then I want you to target St. George after finishing off the Challenger. Are these guys still chasing my DDs? You are. Never mind. You can just keep going. The AI in this game is sometimes very, very strange. Okay, Dannebrog, you can pick a slightly bigger target. No, wait, here they are. They come. They're coming. They're aware that they are there are battleships firing at them. There we go. That's how you do it, Dannebrog. That's how you do it. Let's see, what kind of torpedo range are we looking at for the enemy ships here? 17.8? Yeah, you can launch torpedoes as soon as they get in range, actually. And now, with the enemy battleships suddenly back in range, yeah, we got some new targets for you, Dannebrog. Have all those torpedoes on aggro, and they're just gonna launch at whatever is presenting itself as a target. There we go. Okay, Canopus cannot fire back, actually, because Canopus is too angled from all that flooding. So we're going to focus the big guns on Irresistible instead. Which is the one actually firing back. Oh, Irresistible and Hector. But why are you firing HE at that battleship? Do you not have enough penetration to go through? Guess you kind of struggle at this range. Well, I think it should be possible. Score some big hits. There we go. A bit more flooding. And a main gun hit. On Irresistible. Do we have the enemy in torpedo range yet? Not quite. Not quite yet. Top of it is targeting Blenheim. That's good. Sending out some torpedoes from my cruisers. Actually, you can target that too, Ager. Because those torpedoes are going to run on and hit things. Now I want you to turn your torpedoes off. Because things are getting a little bit too hairy for you. And the Blenheim has launched torpedoes as well. Okay. Oh, poor Torpedo. Realized that a bit too late that you were taking hits. But the torpedoes from my cruisers are looking pretty good. Well, let's just hope I don't end up being a torpedo victim as well. The big, it's not a huge torpedo volley incoming. It's some torpedoes. Not too terrible. We are scoring torpedo heads, including on the irresistible. Wasn't even aimed at her. These battleships be safe? I think they will. Torpedoes detonate around here. Run out of range. Yes. Yes, we're good. We are good. Ooh, one almost hit Dannebrog. Are we gonna get irresistible now? Yes, very good. Good shooting, Dannebrog. Not to mention the torpedoes that did much of the damage. I can turn my cruisers this way. Let's see, Rudolf and Ager. I know I just talked about cruisers being a bit too valuable to risk doing torpedo shenanigans, but I guess here we are. The ones without the torpedoes can just follow the battleships. So we've sunk one capital ship and some cruisers, I guess. See if we can deal with this battle cruiser. The remaining battleship is too damaged to be a threat in this battle, but it's going to become a threat again next time I encounter it. With or without it having been repaired. It can still fire back even at 54% structure. That's no problem for it. It's just that currently the flooding is making it combat ineffective. And we are almost in torpedo range. Well, we are kind of in torpedo range. just not in torpedo range of anything like big and scary. There we go. Battleship is almost in range. Target that with the torpedoes. There they go. There they go. And that should result in some more hits, I think. How are you doing, Dannebrog? Are you firing? You are. Firing at the battlecruiser. Are we actually going to score torpedo hits on Canopus? I hope so. It'd be very nice to put down both of their battleships. Might score torpedoes on Hector as well. The dud torpedo. It was a hit though. We need a little bit more flooding on Canopus. And it is gone. Dannebrog is in a pretty good position to fire into their flanks. But at this range, even her big guns are not really doing that much. But you can target Hector. Can you pen at this range? Maybe. No, not really. There we go, a bit more flooding on Canopus. That's maybe? Maybe. 1%. 0.8. Second battleship sunk. Good freaking job, Dannebrog. And we're scoring hits on Hector as well. Its armor is holding. It only have Citadel 3. Friday, you are retreating. Ooh, but that flooding though. Well, 18-inch hit from Hector. Hector gets some pain in return. Flash fire. Hector does get some pain in return. Take that. Hope you didn't like your A turret. You know, one of the two turrets that's in a sensible location. Excellent. Suddenly this is looking quite good. Maybe not so for Friday, but top it. Can you pen Hector at this angle? 18 kilometers. At that range, you've got not quite enough pen. Not quite enough, but not that bad. You can select whatever ammo you want now. Dannebrog. See, let's bring in the torpedo heavy cruisers again. Now that there are no more big battleship guns bothering me. Let's see, you can sound like this. Dannebrog is about to be out of ammo. He's been doing a lot. But we might get the Hector as well. We might well get the Hector. Now, if we don't get the Hector, we're gonna accidentally get a bunch of other things. There we go, more flooding on Hector. 7%. Ooh. And we're gonna accidentally get a lot of things with those 17-inch guns, with Hector being in the middle of all that. Yeah, that's it for Hector. No more hacking from you. And we're just gonna fire into this bunch of random ships. That's all 3 enemy capital ships taken out. Good use of torpedoes. Great shooting by Dannebrog. Keeps deleting enemy ships. Diadem, next target. I'm gonna go for the heavy cruisers first and foremost. There's Rudolf. Ager is coming in there too. I was very worried that I was gonna lose a bunch of ships in this battle. But so far it's gone well. Dannebrog up to 300,000 damage. You'll love to see that. Those damage numbers go up so quickly once you're shooting at something that is not super heavily armored battleships. Which I guess means that the damage numbers don't actually mean that much. But let's see, Friday is probably gonna get away from this. Udolf, you're coming here. You're gonna get to play with your torpedoes. You got torpedoes on both sides. And the enemy has no more big guns that can really threaten you. You got a lot of torpedoes though, so let's not get too cocky here. And this is a single heavy cruiser. It's quite maneuverable. We should be fine. And if they do launch, I can just turn and the torpedoes will hit nothing, I hope. You can set your guns to target blonde. Torpedoes can target Shannon. There you go, torpedoes from one side, and we're gonna turn, launch from the other side, and then just get out. You can lose your main tower like that. There we go, last torpedoes. Leaving their tubes. Aegir, your turn. Yeah, maybe torpedoes on cruisers. Not. What is that guy doing? Not such a bad idea. I still kind of stand by my initial opinion of torpedo cruisers, though. After you start getting into like late dreadnoughts and modern ships, torpedoes no longer are like super effective at picking out a single target, because you're just gonna get gunned down before you get close enough. Unless you use oxygen torpedoes, where you can launch from far away, but then they're just gonna avoid the torpedoes. But if you can launch against massive formations like this, you're typically gonna hit something. But massive formations like this also have a lot of guns that can shoot back. At least until their battleships are gone. That's why I more favor the idea of expendable destroyers. Okay, that first volley is probably not going to hit much. The ship I was aiming at was maneuvering. But there we go. Last torpedoes left the tubes. And Aegir is leaving the battle. She's done enough. Dannebrog has definitely done enough, and is completely out of ammo. But that was ammo well spent. Let's just watch and see if these torpedoes do anything. Time is running out, actually. I was planning on leaving anyway. The enemy seems to be leaving as well. There we go, torpedo hit on a DD. Flash fire and torpedo hits on a cruiser. Are we gonna get Blenheim finally? And with that, we are leaving. Very good. Lost one cheap light cruiser and one very cheap DD. Sank two expensive battleships and an expensive battlecruiser. Two heavy cruisers, damaged some more. Didn't sink any of their light cruisers though, just very heavily damaged them. Same with the DDs. So these are still gonna be around. But this one's very powerful enemy task force no longer such a threat. Let's see who did what here. Of course, Dannebrog at top. Hector did quite a lot of damage to. Did it kill my my DDs? Yeah, I guess it. Viking 06. Both dealt and took a lot of damage. We got two torpedo hits on Hector. Didn't do that much. I know one of them was a dud. Irresistible took 6 torpedo hits. Nice. Canopus took 4 torpedo hits. And yeah, that was Torkel actually did. No, that's a received damage, never mind. Yeah, Torkel took a torpedo. That was unlucky. Yeah, these DDs did I would say quite amazing. Udolf too, with 8 torpedo hits in total. Viking 06 with 12. Yeah. Yeah, Ager and Udolf both scored 8 torpedo hits. Very nice. I guess we can pretend that the AI is kind of sentient, and that they were trying to take out my less powerful task forces, comprised of older ships, instead of and avoiding my most powerful task forces with the modern battleships, so that I would be even more outnumbered. But the plan didn't quite work out for them. Let's see, the next battle is this one, which we're not gonna do now because this is gonna take a while. That's a whole different episode for next time. We got the Svea. Svea 2 is basically just a copy. And Sten Sture class battlecruisers, like fast battleship type of battlecruisers, with 16 and 14-inch guns. And we also have the old Hel class battlecruisers that are battlecruisers in name, but really more like big armored cruisers at this point. They're not as fast. They don't really have the firepower. And they were supposed to be in the Mediterranean. They just kind of glitched out through the through the Strait of Gibraltar. We have a lot of DDs though, because, well, these are 2 task forces that glitched together. So we can do some fun with the torpedoes. The enemy has not a lot of DDs on light cruisers. They've got light cruisers with torpedoes though. These are not the untorpedoed light cruisers. Same with the heavies. Superb class battlecruiser, 34,000 tons. Still with 18-inch guns. Indomitable, we've seen this one before, same as the Hector from the last battle. Prince George class battleship. I don't know what that's all about. It's got 14-inch guns, 10 of them. Prince of... Ah, yes! This is, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode. After the last war, I got the option of asking for a battleship from the British. They only had one left. I guess they just built it, and it wasn't in service yet. I did ask for it, but I didn't get it. And it was probably one of these. 100,000 tons. 3 billion price tag. And 4 double turrets with 20.1-inch guns. That is a chonker of a battleship. It would almost be a shame to sink them, because I would like to ask for them as war operations and give them refits. Now that's I guess technically it doesn't fulfill the request of building a battleship with double 20-inch guns, because I wouldn't be building it from the ground up. It would only be a refit, but still though, 100,000 tons. That is huge. I think that's bigger than I can make my own super battleship. Maybe if I fatten it up, like beam and draft, I can make it reach 101,000 tons. Almost 102. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this looks like, because I never actually saw it. I'm kind of excited for this, if that is indeed the battle we'll be fighting next episode. Because when I load a save, it's kind of randomized which of these 3 meetings we're gonna get. But no matter which it is, I think it's gonna be quite the battle. Goodbye, and take care.